What would you say is an example of a technique that real-world attackers would not use? What would be out of play?
You know what? There's almost nothing that would be out of play. That's another little.
They've gotten pretty darn clever.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have.
There was a time, perhaps 10 years ago, where you could say, that we've never
do
seen
this.
anybody do that. And I think in some cases, now you've worked with DoD, I've worked with them as well, and they're very close. They had been very closed-mouthed about some of the techniques that were being used. Now there's significantly more sharing about, look at this little trick they did. It's almost like celebrating it now in some cases, as opposed to
it's true.
Not too long ago, it's like, wow, they did that for command and control. They used DNS as a back channel for or they were posting to Twitter, or things like that.
So everything's come in there. And I'm sorry I don't have an answer for your question, because I could just picture one of your viewers saying, well, actually the bad guys did this to me. So it's got to be contextualized to the environment you're operating in. For example, it might be that it doesn't make sense to do physical security, given how good it is around a given environment. But then, I would never rule out physical security attacks against certain kinds of organizations. And there's actually something, whenever I'm doing a penetration test or a red team exercise, it's a fun little thing. When you're doing this, occasionally somebody on the other side, blue or management, will say to you, well, that's just not fair. And in my head, whenever I hear somebody say that's not fair, I think to myself, have I operated within my scope? Have I followed my rules of engagement? And am I doing something that I can say, there's this other attack where this happened? The same technique I just used was used in another real world attack. If I can answer all of those three affirmatively, real world stuff, operating in scope, operating rules of engagement, what that's not fair means, and I translate it in my head in real time, means you have bested me. I'm very impressed with your skills. Can you please explain to me how you did this? So that's what that's not fair means. So when somebody says that, you don't get your back up. You just smile.
Right.
Say, oh, well, here, let me explain to you how that followed the scope, followed the rules of engagement, and here's how it maps to real world attacks. Then we can work together,
very good.
Red sharpening blue, vice versa, to figure out how to defend against it.
Yeah, it's a very good response.
Yeah. So I get all excited when they say that's not fair. That's not a bad thing at all. That's really good, because now we're communicating.